In this video, we're going to take a look at fixing the hierarchy in a website where we weren't aware of the bug that was created by Windows Vista Service Pack 2 or Windows 7. If you're not aware of that bug, you need to take a look at the video called Site Definition Workaround before you continue with this video. So what we're going to look at is we have a folder on our desktop or on our flash drive. In this particular case, it just happens to be on my desktop. The name of the folder is last name, first initial. Inside it is a folder named Parks and my index page. Now my index page is supposed to be inside the Parks folder, but because I was unaware of the bug in Windows Vista Service Pack 2 when I created this site, I didn't map to the Parks folder, I mapped to the last name folder. So my root site ended up one level above. Now I need to get the index page inside the Parks folder. Your first instinct may be, well, I'll just move it right here. If you do that, you're going to lose all your links. So don't move it here. We're just looking at it here. The other thing I see is that my Parks, our background, is not in the Images folder where it should be. I want to move it as well. When I open up Dreamweaver, I'm going to see why this happened, and I'm going to move these files in the Dreamweaver Files panel, and all of my links should remain intact. So I'll go ahead and minimize this. I'm going to open Dreamweaver. When I look at my site panel, I see that I've defined my site so that last name F, this would be like your last name, your first initial, is the root folder for my website, when it really should be Parks. Images has all my current images, and the index page is within the last name folder, and the Parks image is one level above the Images folder. We just looked at that here. Let's look at it again. There's my index page. I want it in Parks. There is my image, and I want it in Images. Do not move it in Windows Explorer. You think it'll be easy. It will mess things up. When I look at it now, everything is working. So if I preview this in my browser, my background's there, my images are there, my pages work. So, but my hierarchy is wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close all of these pages. First, I'm going to take the Parks background and I'm going to grab it and I'm going to drag it into the Images folder. Using the Files panel, I just drag it into the Images folder. Now it's going to ask me, do you want to update the following links? And you see the path to these links. I'm going to update them. So I update them. Now when I open up the index page, my background's still there. Open up the Preserves page, Sites page. My background is still there in all of these pages. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to take the index page and I want to move it into the Parks folder. So I'm just going to grab it and I'm going to drop it up here in Parks. It's going to ask me again, do I want to update these links? Because remember, Home links the historical sites to the index page. Home links the Preserves page to the index page. And we had links from the index page to the historical sites page and to the Preserves page. So I'm going to say update. Now I'm going to open up my index page again, and let's preview it in the browser. Let's see if everything's still working. Everything is working great. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Now I'm going to edit my site path. So I'll go up to Site, Manage Sites, choose my Alaska Parks. I'm going to edit, and I'm going to make sure that Parks is at the end of this site, and that Images is at the end of this. I shouldn't say at the end of this site. It's at the end of this path, and Images is at the end of this path. See, this one has already been fixed. And I'll just say OK. It's going to give me the recreate. I'll say done. And now that upper folder is missing. It's still on my, oops, wrong one here. It's still on my desktop. It's still right here. But now index page is no longer there, and the image is there. And when you're working in the site, the temporary folders will often, or temporary files will often be created, and you could just get rid of those by deleting them. Okay. And now whenever I create a new page, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to create new, and I'll just call this, I think the next page we're going to create is going to be Denali, and so I'll say create, and I'm going to save it as Denali, and it should go directly into my files panel, and you see it's right there. In order to make sure that these fixes truly worked, we need to check one last thing. I'm going to close the Denali page. I'm going to click on Index, and I'm going to open it in Code View. And in Code View, I'm going to check to make sure that my links, here I am linking to the images. Let's see, images and my anchor tags. I see that my anchor tags are preserve.htm, and the anchor tag here, historical sites. Because Windows is so forgiving, it would put a full path in there and I would still see the pages. So I want to make sure that these are relative links and that I'm not seeing a full path. So I wouldn't see C:/ forward or backslash users backslash so on and so on and so on. So I just want to see a relative path to preserves. That's what I'm looking for here. I'm going to open up the historical sites page, and I'm just going to double check it down at the bottom where it says home. I'm going to look to make sure that it's a relative path. So I'm just double checking this. Everything's working in Dreamweaver, but remember, Windows is very forgiving as far as when you move things around. Sometimes it will continue to find that particular image or that particular web page. Even though you've moved it to a new folder, it will insert the full path name. But then when you try to view this website on a web server or on a different machine, that path, that full path, is no longer available. Now, if you don't understand what I've said about paths, there is another video here on fixing image sources in Notepad, fixing image sources in Dreamweaver. Review either or both of those videos to see what I'm talking about when I talk about path versus relative path. This is the end of this video.